Hi everybody, it's Miss Mandy and welcome to our live chat, although today it is a not so live chat because I'm coming to you with a pre-recorded video. So I'm calling it a not so live chat, but like not an undead chat, not like a zombie chat, but just a not so live chat. All right, today we are talking about Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. It's by Chris Grabenstein. And I hope you guys are all really loving it because I've got some cool things to tell you about the author and then also about the book itself today. And I've got a few questions for you. So yeah, I'm going to have you guys, I'll pop those on Edmodo and I'll have you guys answer those in just a little bit or whenever you get the chance. So a little bit about Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein. So it was inspired by Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or it's kind of a nod to Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I love Roald Dahl, and Roald Dahl wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It wasn't just a movie. It's not just a movie. It was a book first, and I love Roald Dahl. So no offense to Mr. Lemoncello's Library, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is not my favorite Roald Dahl book. It's excellent, don't get me wrong, and Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library, excellent, quality, very fun. I think we're going to talk about it later, but I think it's got some really fun aspects to it. But I also wanted to talk about my favorite Roald Dahl book, getting a little off topic here. That's okay, that's, you're in a Miss Mandy chat, so we're going to go like all over the place as we talk about one book. We're going to go like, woo, zigzag. So I thought I'd share with you my favorite Roald Dahl book, which is The Twits. Yeah, it's awesome. So I'll just read you the description because it says it better than I ever could. Mr. and Mrs. Twit are the smelliest, nastiest, ugliest people in the world. They hate everything except playing mean jokes on each other, catching innocent birds to put in their bird pies. Oh, hey, another tangent. I'm not even done talking about this book, but today's Pie Day. Yeah, so speaking of bird pie, today's Pie Day, 3.14. So March 14th is Pie Day. Yeah, like 3.14159. So happy Pie Day! Yay! Tangent over Miss Mandy. Back to the Twits. And then back to Mr. Lemoncello's Library. So, and then they make their caged monkeys, the Mugglewumps, stand on their heads all day. But the Mugglewumps, like, they get really, I'll launch into my own spiel. The Mugglewumps get, like, really tired of dealing with the Twits. So they come up with all of these pranks, like worm spaghetti, and like it's fantastic. It's my favorite Roald Dahl book. My other favorite Roald Dahl book is a lot of people's favorite. It is the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant, and a movie version of it came out last year, and it was really good. And they kept in like the funniest part, the whiz popper part. So if you know what a whiz popper part is, it's pretty funny, and they kept that in the movie, and it was hysterical. So I love Roald Dahl, which like, he's really funny, but it's also like there's just lots of funny jokes in it. And so I was really excited when I read that Mr. Lemoncello's Library was loosely based, or kind of a nod, not loosely based, but kind of a nod to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where basically kids kind of have to use their wits and their talents to escape something. I really liked that. So about Roald Dahl, I just had a really quick question for you. Have you ever read any Roald Dahl? Do you have a favorite Roald Dahl book? Because he's tremendous, and we should talk about Roald Dahl sometime. Not today, because I've got lots of other stuff to talk about, and you guys do not want to sit and listen to me talk all night. So we should talk more about Roald Dahl sometime, though, because he had a really cool life, and he was a spy before he was a children's book author. Like, he was a spy who went on to write children's books. But the author of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library, he has had a really cool life, too, before he became a kid's author. So we'll talk about that more in a bit. So a little bit about Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. That I thought this was so cool. We won't talk so much about the book today, like the plot, because I know you guys have your face-to-face meetings to talk about that, but I thought this was a really cool challenge. Oh, yeah, really quickly, I forgot to say. So have you ever read Roald Dahl? Do you have a favorite Roald Dahl book? That's one of those questions that's going to go up on Edmodo. So, because then at some point, remind me to tell you more about Roald Dahl's life, or you can like look it up yourself, because you guys are really awesome, probably at research too, so you could look it up yourself. But he was a really cool dude, spy and children's author. So, but Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. So I thought this was really cool. So the book itself is a game. So you have the plot of the book, which is the kids, solving these clues and solving mysteries to try to get out of this fantastic library. But the book itself is a game. So I thought that was so cool. Like, you've got the book, and then you've got this framework of a book, which is, this game. So it's a game in and of itself, the book, in which readers can have fun solving clues and learning how to navigate the Dewey Decimal System. Do you guys know what the Dewey Decimal System is? It's this way of organizing nonfiction books and giving them a certain number so that everybody knows. So like all the geography books are in one place, and all the dinosaur books are in another place, and all the cookbooks are in a certain spot. So this is because not every kid catches this when they read it. That's what's really cool about what the author did. Because the author says only eagle-eyed kids, parents, teachers, and librarians, they're the ones who are going to catch the clues. So when you're reading this book, you have to be really eagle-eyed. So what you're going to do is, there's a puzzle in the book, and rumor has it, there is a puzzle that is in the book, but not part of the story. So scattered throughout the book are these clues and these tests and these mysteries, and also hidden, are the names of authors. They're kind of sprinkled throughout. So that rumor has it that there is even one puzzle that is in the book but not in the story, which is kind of interesting. How could a puzzle be in the book itself but not in the story? So it's kind of woven throughout but stands apart a little bit. So that's my challenge for you guys and I haven't found it yet, so let's see who can be first. And then bring your answer to our face-to-face meeting here at Hayden at the end of the month. So the challenge for you guys: can you find the hidden puzzle in this book that's part of the book but not part of the story? Can you find the puzzle and solve it? And if you do, bring your discovery to our live meeting, which will be happening at the end of the month. So that'll be pretty fun. I'll be really excited and interested to see if you guys can solve the mystery and the puzzle in Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. All right, so I got to tell you, maybe it's just I'm a nerdy librarian. I spend all day in a library, so I love thinking about really cool libraries. I have this dream library in my head. And that's my next question, because this library in this book is really awesome, and the kids in this town, they've never had a public library before, so they're really excited. And so, and the libraries, it's pretty fantastic library. So I had a question for you. All right, describe your dream library. How many stories are in it? Pun intended. Book stories or stories high? Yeah. Hilarious joke, Miss Mandi. Thank you. High five. Yeah. All right. So, no, it was terrible. That was not even a good pun. But anyway, how many stories, pun intended, are there in the book, or in your dream library, rather? What cool things would it have for kids your age? So think, specifically, what, in your dream library, what would it have? My dream library is 3 stories tall, and it has one of those staircase slides. Have you ever seen a staircase slide? So it's a staircase, but then and it's a spiral staircase, so it spirals around from the top to the ground, but on the edge of the staircase is a slide. And so if you really want to go fast from the top to the bottom, you just hop on the slide. So kids could ride the slide 3 stories down. I think that'd be really fun. I would take it all the time. Or you could just send books down it, just whoosh. Yeah, and meet your book down below. I think that sounds awesome. I would love... Yeah, and imagine how fun that would be. A 3-story tall slide. Really awesome. You'd probably have to have a ball pit or some padding at the bottom. So what fun things would a library have for kids your age? Or even think back when you were really little. What would you have liked? Or what should it have for teenagers? Or, should it have food? Should it have pizza? Should it have a food court? A rock wall to climb? What kind of cool things would a library have? Should it have a museum? There's this cool library they're going to build over in Montana, in Missoula, Montana, and they're partnering with a museum, and it's going to have museum exhibits inside of it. So, really cool stuff, skeletons and things in the library. They're going to have a museum. I think that's awesome. And also in your dream library, what fun events, being locked in and having to solve clues in order to escape, would it have? So what how many stories, like how tall, how big, how many books, what would it have for kids your age, like design, think like if you could design it, what would it have? And then also what kind of fun events would it have? Yeah, would you want to be locked in the library like, oh, this is really fun, it's a lock-in and we're going to have fun, and then I can't get out? So would you like to have something like that? All right, so that's my next question, is just describe your dream library. Think big. And then also, like, you know, if there are some really good ideas on your discussions and Mr. Nick and I read them, we might, you know, if they're doable, like, I couldn't have a 3-story slide. I've been told I can't have a 3-story slide in the library. I guess that's fine. I'll be okay with that. But if there's something doable, I bet we could maybe even make it happen if it's something that's pretty fun. And we think we could make it happen. Yeah, if it's realistic. All right, so I thought next I'd transition and tell you a little bit about the author, Chris Grabenstein, because he has had a really cool life. Do you ever read about people's lives and you're like, how do you do all these cool things? It's really inspiring to me to read about these people's lives, and they just, basically they spend their whole life as an adventure. And they just go from adventure to adventure, and it's not even adventures in the way you would think, like exploring Antarctica or climbing Mount Everest. They just live their life as if it's one big adventure, one big fun game, and I really love that. I love reading about people like that. It inspires me to live my life a little more adventurously and just take risks and challenges and go for new things. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the author, because as I was researching him, he's one of those people that I'm like, wow, you really treated everything. You just went for it. Whatever you saw that you wanted to do, you went for it and tried. So you've probably read some of his other books, and that's my next question is, have you ever read any other books by Chris Grabenstein? And some of his other books are The Island of Dr. Libris, which we have at the library if you're interested. We have all of his books here at the library. The iFunny series. I know a lot of you have probably read the iFunny series. It's really popular. House of Robots. That's another great one. And Treasure Hunters. So, yeah, let me know if you have read those. I'll pop that question on Edmodo too, and let me know what you think of them. Is this one as good? Were the other ones better? What kind of differences have you noticed? Do they all feel the same? Sometimes authors are tremendous at writing a book where they all have the same feel and it's wonderful, or authors are really great at writing books and each one feels different. So tell me if it feels different or if it feels the same. So when the author was 10 years old, he moved to Tennessee, and he had a teacher in high school who told him he would, quote, make a living as a writer one day, end quote. So his teacher said, this is what you're going to do. He was in high school, and a teacher said, you're going to make a living as a writer. So my next question is, has a teacher ever, or anyone, a grown-up who's seen something that you've done, something that you care about, something that you love, something you're really passionate about, or really a skill or talent you have, has anyone ever inspired you or made a prediction about what you will do for a career? And what did they say? What was their deciding, like, what did they say you were going to do in the future? And did you agree with them? I remember when I was in 3rd grade, we were working on a big group project. I still remember this, 3rd grade. And the teacher said, Mandi, you're going to be a director someday. Looking back, I think she was saying I was bossy. I don't think she actually meant I was going to be a film director. She's like, yeah, you could be a director, Mandi. And I think that teacher was subtly saying that I was being the bossy pants, which I probably was, knowing myself. Yeah. But there have also been a lot of teachers who have said really inspiring things to me. People who knew that I would one day love working with kids. People who knew all along that this, yeah, somebody once said, of course I knew you were going to be a librarian. You've always loved books and you love kids. So ever since I was a little kid. So sometimes people can see qualities in us and like things that we're meant to do before we can. So that's what I was interested in. Has anyone ever said something about you? And sometimes it can be really inspiring and eye-opening, like, you think I'm talented at this? You think I'm skilled at this? I could do this? And it makes you aware of this whole new facet of your personality and things that you can accomplish and do that maybe you never thought possible until somebody looked at you and believed in you. So, did you agree with what somebody said about you, or do you disagree and it made you go like, no, I'm never going to be that. I'm going to be this instead, and I'm devoting my life to that. So let me know. Either way, no, in any of these questions I ask, no right answer, no wrong answer, just your opinion, whatever you think. All right, so after high school and college, the author, Chris Grabenstein, he joined a comedy group. And not just any comedy group. His comedy group had an actor in it named Bruce Willis. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Bruce Willis is, but he's a pretty famous actor, or was. He's been in a lot of movies. And so, yeah, Chris Grabenstein was in a comedy troupe. And I didn't even know that Bruce Willis did comedy until I read this. So, yeah, with a famous actor. And then, have you ever heard of the comedian Robin Williams? Very famous comedian. He passed away a couple years ago, but he was very famous, very hilarious. And from time to time, like Robin Williams at this time was still really famous in his own right. Like he was a famous guy. But then from time to time, he would just drop by and hang out with Chris Grabenstein's comedy troupe, which is like, what? Like, they would have this comedy group that they formed, and it was so good that this famous comedian would just, drop by and do comedy. So not only was he doing comedy, but he also wrote for the Muppets, for Jim Henson's Muppets. Yeah, like, I just love that. I just love that he did so many things. He didn't stick with one thing. And it's probably what made him such a good writer, is that he tried different things. He did comedy, and he wrote for a children's television program. And then later became a children's author. So, and it shows that he's really good. He knows how to communicate to kids of all ages. And I just like that. I like that inspiration of finding things that you're good at, or just that you're interested in, and then working to make yourself good at them. Because you don't have to have a natural skill or a talent for something right away. You can work for it if it's something that you really want. He also wrote a TV movie. And then this is really cool. He spent close to 20 years writing commercials for radio and television. And so he wrote for Burger King commercials, 7-Up, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Dr. Pepper, and a lot of other ones. And his first boss, somebody that he worked very closely with for quite a while, his first boss was also a commercial writer, an advertisement writer. And that man's name was James Patterson. And you might know James Patterson. He's very famous, has written tons of books for kids and for grown-ups. So they met at this other job writing commercials, and now they write books together. And I think that's another great point, is you don't know who you're going to meet along the way. That becomes one of your teammates in life. Somebody that you write books with, or you make art with, you make music with, you have scientific discoveries with. So you never know who you're going to meet at one age that you could know your whole life and end up creating wonderful things together, like science or art or music or books, writing books. And speaking of books, I thought I would chat with you guys now about a few books that I've been loving lately. And the first one I'm going to start with is, this is embarrassing. It's sitting on my desk. That's really embarrassing. And I'm in a completely different part of the library. I thought I had it with me. It is called Save Me a Seat. And it is by Sarah Weeks and Geeta Varadarajan. And it's amazing. So let me tell you about that. It is about a kid who immigrates from India to the United States. And when he was in India, he was the coolest kid in school, the smartest kid, the most popular, the best athlete. Well, when he moves to America, he's not the coolest kid in school anymore. And in fact, he's kind of an outsider here. And he tries to befriend the most popular boy in school, but that kid's not very trustworthy. Instead, who he ends up kind of becoming friends with is a kid who has sensory processing disorder. So he's also an outsider. And it's really, I don't want to give anything away, because there is one part in it, well, there's a couple parts that are so funny and so gross funny that I laughed out loud while I was reading it. And I can't give it away. I want to tell you so bad, but it's hysterical. And it's right at the end of the book. And you don't think the two boys are going to become friends, but then something happens, and it's hilarious. And the bad guy gets what's coming to him, which is really always good. So there's friendship and family. There's really good, realistic stories about what it's like in a family. Because one family, they've immigrated from India and they're learning how to live in the United States. And then another family, the dad has to travel for work all the time. So the mom and the son are learning how to navigate life without the dad always in the house, because he has to travel for work so much. So there's a lot of really great things in there about family, and some really hilarious, gross, involving something you would never expect. Like, I want to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you. But I want to tell you, but I'm not. but it's really good. All right, so that, I have been loving that book lately. This one, it's checked out, so I printed off this picture. Look, I remember to do that. May have left one book on my desk. I have like 7 books scattered around me. I left the most important one, which was Save Me a Seat by Sarah Weeks and Gita Varadarajan. But I also printed this cover out because it's checked out. It's called Unidentified Suburban Object, and it's fantastic. So I'll let you see the cover and the author there. Yeah. So it's about a girl named Chloe Cho, and she's the only Korean American girl in her school. And so she's trying to figure out how to be both an American girl and a Korean American girl. So she starts making Korean food with the help of her best friend, who's not Korean, but wants to help her friend explore her heritage. So she makes Korean food for her parents. She starts learning Korean, and her parents have no idea what she's talking about. They act like they've never, and her parents supposedly immigrated from Korea to the United States. But when she makes Korean food for them, they act like they've never seen it before. And when she speaks Korean to them, they act like they don't know Korean. And so it gets really frustrated because here she is trying to figure out how to be a girl who's both Korean and American, and her parents aren't helping her out. And what's even more suspicious is they act like they know nothing about their heritage, about where they came from. So there's a surprise ending, and it's another one like I want to tell you, but I can't tell you, but I want to, but I won't tell you why the parents, but I'll give you a little hint. The hint about why her parents don't know anything about their heritage is in the title. So, Unidentified Suburban Object. What phrase does that sound like? Unidentified suburban object. Have you ever heard a couple of those words in that order before? And then you can see there's a fish on the cover, so yeah, kind of like fish out of water tale, but she's not a fish out of water, and the fish will come into it. It's really interesting. So yeah, Unidentified Suburban Object, like 2 thumbs way up. Same with Save Me a Seat. Unidentified Suburban Object, like 2 thumbs, like my highest rating. Yeah, if you guys ever want to select this for a book club book, that or Save Me a Seat, I would be right there every time discussing it with you because I think they are tremendous books. All right, so a couple other books that I loved. This is PSB 11, and it's by Rita Williams Garcia. And I haven't read PSB 11 right yet. I'm going to start it because I just finished One Crazy Summer. Oh, let's get that on camera. One Crazy Summer, and it's also by Rita Williams Garcia. The PSB 11 is the sequel to One Crazy Summer. If you like books that are set in the past, so it's set it's set in the past. It's set in the 70s, and One Crazy Summer, they travel to California, and it's about 3 sisters, so it's family. They haven't seen their mom. Their mom left when the youngest sister was a baby, so they haven't seen their mom almost their whole lives. Only the oldest one has any memories of their mom. So they go stay with their mom one summer, and she's not like most moms. She has no real interest in being a mom, and so it's interesting reading about how the girls navigate. They get sent to a summer camp, and they learn how to get along as sisters. They learn what it's like. They learn about their culture and their heritage, being Black Americans, and they learn things about their mom and about themselves. And so this is the sequel. This is PSB 11, and I'm really excited to start it. And there's just a lot of great things in those books. So if you're interested in family, and there's a lot of great friendship in that book, I think that's kind of the theme with all of the books that I'm recommending today is in all of these books, there's great support through family and through friends, but also challenges through family and friends. And so a lot of times we can learn how to navigate these facets of life by reading them in books and seeing what characters have gone through. So that's about it for me today. Those are just a few of the books that I've been loving lately. If you need any more recommendations, you can always come by and see. Or if you have any books that you've been loving lately, share them on the board. Let's get them out there. It's really fun to share books and talk about them and all the things that we love. And did you agree with that? Or what did you think of them? And oh my goodness, can you believe when that happened? It makes it really fun. That's why we have a book club. And what I really love about Newfangled is that we share books and we chat about them, but what I love even more is that it's kid-led, and you guys are the ones choosing the books. So if there are any more books that you really like, let us hear about it. All right, so I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me on my not-so-live chat. All right, I'll see you later. Have a great day.